Josh George here, doing a Heisman prediction and an award show of how I think the 2022 awards will go for college football. We're going to start with the Ray Guy Award. These are the three finalists I have, as you can see here. The reason I picked Jake Moody over the other two is because, well, he's a preseason All-American, and, Michigan, if they get the chance to go for the field goal, they're going for the field goal. Harbaugh, sometimes he can be conservative like that. Alex Hale, Oklahoma State's going to move the ball in between the 20s a lot this year. And because of that, they'll be settling for some field goals. And Hale's just an accurate guy, so I've got him on this list. And then, of course, you see Jonah from Boise State, 57 is his long, good kicker, made the list. To the best punter of the year. Look, I think Nick from Texas A&M is the best punter in the country. I think he'll have enough punts. He'll have that his net average will be just as good as anyone in the country, and I think his pins inside the 20 will be just as good as anyone in the country. And because he's so consistent, he'll win the award. Of course, Michael Turk, a team that I don't see punting quite as much because of the hurry-up offense and Lebby wanting to go for it so much at OU. I think that is really where he loses the award, even though he's a All-American Big 12 honor. And then Tom Huntington, like I say, because of the way this offense is going to move between the 20s, they're going to be kicking and punting a lot, and he'll have a lot of pins inside the 20s just based off where drives will finish. Joe Moore Award, Best Offensive Line in the country. I have that as Alabama. Then I think because of the run game, Army finishes second. Then I think Ohio State is right there because of all that talent. Then Michigan, because they're not going to give up a lot of sacks. They're going to run the ball well. And then because of how they just move it between the 20s, Oklahoma State at 5th. Now the Rimington Trophy. Look, Jared Patterson for Notre Dame is the best center in the country. There's almost no doubt about that right now. But he'll have to prove it, and he'll have to earn that award. But I predict he will. Then, of course, Bryce Foster from Texas A&M is a top center in the SEC. So he'll probably finish in the top 3, top 5. I've got him second. Then Luke with Ohio State. Look, he's a good center. Joe Moore Award guy was part of a Joe Moore Award finalist. So because of that and his leadership, he'll get on this list as well. Same with Seth at Alabama. And then Will Reichert at UAB is the best group of 5 center that there is right now as far as talent goes. And I think he will get in the top 5 for this list. Now the Outland Trophy. Look, I think Connor Galvin is the best offensive lineman in college football, and he's top of the Big 12 right now. I think he'll win the award. I think Donan Jones, part of an offensive line that competed for the Joe Moore Award at Ohio State, lots of talent. I think he gets on this list. Jarrett Patterson, the best center in the country, makes the list. Then, of course, Nick at Ole Miss. Look, really, really good offensive lineman. You're going to have to be physical in the ACC. I think he stands out and gets noticed by a lot of scouts. And then, of course, Jackson Kirkland at Washington. With the way this team is they're going to be a pass-first offense. But when they run, this is the guy they're going to be running behind. I think people are really going to take notice of who their main lead blocker is. And because of that, he gets on the list. Then, of course, the Chuck Bednarik Award. Look, Will Anderson's probably the best player in college football as far as talent goes and speed goes today. I think he'll win the award. And I think one of the best linebackers at Alabama, Henry Tutu, I think he gets on this list as well. Xavier Thomas, the sack master from Clemson. And then, of course, Jay Ward, the best free safety in college football right now. Have a lot of picks, going to be really good at playing the ball. He'll get on this list. Of course, Josh Jobe from Alabama. He's like an honorable mention almost, but because there's two other guys on this list, but I think he's one of the best defensive backs in the country. And then, of course, I think T.D. Roof is going to be a surprise at OU, the way he fits into this system. He's the son of a coach, a hard-hitting guy. I think he's going to average 7 to 10 tackles per game. And in this Venables defense, I think he gets his name on the list. Now to the Nagurski Award. Look, I think the sack master is going to win the award. Xavier Thomas, he's going to have the most sacks in the country this season, in my estimate. And then, of course, you got your Alabama linebackers. They're going to rack up a ton of sacks and be a rush-stopping combo. And then, of course, Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith from Georgia, going to be a run-stopping sack team. So I think combination of those guys. Now, Walter Camp Award. Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State. I have him winning the Walter Camp Award. He's just going to be a show-out prospect and a guy that really fills the shoes of Olave. Then Brock Bowers. I think he's the best tight end in the country. We'll get to that award in a minute. And I think he has, because of mismatches and things in the SEC, he matches up really well with a lot of linebackers and things like that. Hard to cover. So I think he'll show up on this list. And then quarterback, which I've made that very clear, Devin Leary from NC State. With where I have them finishing, I think he makes it onto this list. Now the Broyles Award, Best Assistant Coach in College Football. I think Jesse Minter, with only 3 starters coming back at Michigan, I think with where this defense is projected, I think he will wind up winning the award for the best assistant in college football. Then Jeff Lebby. Look, OU is projected. I mean, he's averaged 40 points per game in his offense, and OU last season only scored 39 points per game. So if this offense exceeds points per game from where they were with the well-known Lincoln Riley, there's no way he's not on this list. Then Josh Gaddis, the guy from Miami who this team's projected to get more turnovers than they had with the turnover chain. And of course, him and Cristobal have been working really well together, and he's ranked as the number 1 minority coach in college football right now. There's no way he's not on this list, in my opinion. Anyways, the Johnny Unitas, Golden Arm, C.J. Stroud, a guy that's kind of underrated, that may have missed out on some awards. I think this is one that he gets, And then, of course, Chase Bryce from Appalachian State kind of makes this list. Charlie Brewer from Liberty makes this list. Kind of underrated arms here. Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina makes this list. And Cameron Rising from Utah, undervalued guy. So there's some undervalued guys that could win the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. John Mackey Award. Like I said, Brock Bowers, best tight end in college football, wins the award from Georgia. Michael Mayer, All-American from Notre Dame, is going to make the list probably. And then Bryant from Utah, really good guy, really talented guy. They're going to use him in the run game and in the pass game. He'll make the list. And then the 2 guys from South Carolina are going to probably both be on this list. They're going to be a tight end, heavy offense. Spencer's, the quarterback's developing a really good relationship with these guys. Then the Doak Walker, best running back in college football. Look, the reason I've got Tank Bigsby is because Auburn's going to lean on him like crazy. They don't have a quarterback that they trust right now, and because of that, they're going to really lean on the run game. The only thing that really could hurt Tank Bigsby is if they have a couple guys that rush really, really well. Then, of course, Bijan Robinson, arguably the most talented running back in college football. He should be on this list. Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State, a team that's going to be a run-first offense, really is going to help him. And then you got to have a Wisconsin guy on this list, and Allen's a really good running back. And then Travion Henderson, show out from Ohio State, a team that's just so talented this year. And then, of course, the Biletnikoff Award, Smith-Njigba from Ohio State. I think he snatches this. I think he I just think he's going to be a superstar wide receiver. Then Burden from Alabama, Jeremiah, I think he comes on the scene and just is a show-out guy, fits in the Alabama offense perfectly. Xavier Worthy, his speed, and just with the deep ball, gets him on this list. Jordan Addison, of course, we know him from Pittsburgh, was on this list last year, now at USC, makes the list again, no doubt about it, in the best offense in the country. Then, of course, Marvin Mims from OU. I think he, if they can get him the ball in space, I think he can make it onto this list. Then the Davey O'Brien Award. Look, I think Devin Leary, with really where this team is projected to be at, where I have them projected at, I think he's going to win this award. Then, of course, Caleb Williams, strong arm in a great system. And then C.J. Stroud, a guy that I have third. Then the Maxwell Award. I think Caleb Williams sneaks up, wins this one as a kind of a super athlete. Then, of course, Devin Leary from North Carolina State. Then Smith-Njigba from Ohio State. And then I think a guy that's kind of undervalued right now that is really going to fit into the SEC is Spencer Rattler. I've got him fourth on the list. Then Coach of the Year. With where I have, I'll attach this video to a playlist, and you'll have to see where I have these teams projected in the conference standings, and of course, finishing in the top 25. But if David Dorn only loses one game, which is where I have NC State at right now, he'll win Coach of the Year. And then with Brett Venables and Marcus Freeman as first-year head coaches, if they finish where I have them both in the top 10, they'll absolutely be on this list, no doubt about it. Now the Heisman Trophy. Look, Devin O'Leary is going to have a Heisman-like season, and I think he will. I think he has kind of that Joe Burrow glow-up, where he just turns into this guy that's like, where did this guy come from, and how is he there? And he just has that kind of a season, maybe not super Joe Burrow, but where he has that glow-up, and he wins the Heisman. And, of course, with the exception of Spencer Rattler, the whoever Lincoln Riley's starter is in the first game of the year has finished top 2 in the Heisman since he's been a head coach. So I think Caleb Williams will finish second in the Heisman voting. And then C.J. Stroud, I think he'll finish third. I think he's on this list because I think Njigba makes him look really good. I think they rack up a lot of yards together. And, the backfield, there's so much to worry about. And then the reason I've got Bryce Young so low, I know he is a Heisman winner, is Will Anderson. I think that those two are both going to get a ton of votes, and it kind of splits your vote, so to speak. And that's why they finish 4th and 5th in the Heisman voting. I'm Josh George. This was my Heisman Memorial Trophy preseason predictions.